Listen to this episode if you've ever wondered how your role as the founder should shift and adjust as you scale your company. This is a conversation that I really feel like we need to be talking about more is as the founder, how does our roles, responsibilities, goals, objectives actually change as our business changes? Because one of the biggest reasons founders get stuck is because they keep doing the same job long after their business has outgrown the job that they are doing. The skill that got you to your first 50,000 are not the same skills and objectives that are going to get you to your first 500,000 because your business looks different. As you scale, you're investing more into your company and you're doing a lot of different activities that you are able to kind of change your goals. And I really want to start talking more about the founder brain because the founder brain has to be different than the brain of an average person. Because how you are operating in your business is you are not an employee. You are not just doing the tasks on your list and calling it a day. You are the visionary. You are the structure. You are the person that is growing your company. And so you need to act like it and you need to grow like it. You need to grow and adapt as you build. I feel like we talk a lot about mindset here, how we have to change our mindset in business and do a lot of personal growth in order for our business to grow. But we don't really talk about how we change within our business or within our organization as we grow already. I think that this is a good kind of frame of reference that I would like to bring to you is that every time your revenue doubles, your role should evolve and you have to do a good audit around you as the founder and saying, what tasks have you outgrown? What tasks can we now outsource? What tasks do we now have to add on to your plate? And what tasks actually make sense for you to be doing right now? Your priorities should evolve as your business does. The way you spend your time should evolve. The way you spend your money should evolve because your business is also evolving. So I want to talk about this of how you and your role within your business really need to evolve as your business does evolve as well. We're going to talk about the 5 different stages of your role as a founder. And then by the end, we're going to talk about the biggest mistake that founders make that you have to make sure that you are not doing in order to really continue to build this category leader business that you are trying to build. Before we dive into the nitty gritty, I just want to take 10 quick seconds to say hello. In case you're new here, my name is Madison Page. I am the host of the Business Growth Podcast, and I help product-based business owners become the next category leader in their industry. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, so make sure that you are subscribed so you never miss an episode. Only 30% of my active listeners are subscribed right now, which is a crazy statistic. And so if you never want to miss an episode, make sure that you subscribe and they will pop up for you every time you join. So stage 1, when you are first starting in business, we talk about these stages of growth all the time. Really, your first major goal and objective is to get proof of concept for your brand. So your job, because most of the time when you're first starting, you're a solo founder. Some people come in with investment and they can have some support right off the bat, but your job is to wear a lot of hats. It's to get visibility. It's to talk to customers. It's to figure out what people actually want. It's to test a lot of things. It's to learn what messaging resonates the best. It's to learn what products resonate, which messaging and what marketing resonates. What we're really seeing here is, yes, I know I always talk about that you really need one major channel. I talk a lot about that theory of one, that you really only need that one major channel. However, what you do need to do in that beginning stage is you do have to cast a little bit of a wider net. We are doing some testing just to see. Sometimes we think this one product is going to blow up and this other one does instead. So we do kind of have to test and get some other things out there and really just find proof of concept and what ends up really working for us. Your focus to find proof of concept is really just branding, marketing, sales, customer feedback. It's all you got. That's all you need to be doing. And so a lot of times people think that they have to do all of these extra things. And at this stage, your goal isn't just efficiency of the company. It's not profit. It's not you trying to be as efficient as possible. Your goal is proof. Can I get people to buy this? Can I get people to care? So as the founder, your role in this stage of business is to be kind of scrappy. It's to be gritty. It's to really show up as this person that is just so dedicated to make this thing work and see how we can actually make it work. So when you are in this role, you are going to be wearing more hats than you're used to. You are going to need to be doing a lot of different things. You are going to need to do things that you don't want to do. And you are going to do some things that do fail. So you just have to be ready to cast that wide net, but of course, be strategized and be structured. And really your only focus in this stage is branding, marketing, sales, customer feedback. We need people to move through your buying cycle and to give you some feedback so you can also adjust your buying cycle and make sure that they are coming back. Now, once you've doubled, let's say to get proof of concept, you needed to get, let's say maybe 30,000. Some people say 50, some people say 100. I don't think it's really revenue. It's more signals. But let's say that first stage, just for hee-haws here, is it got you to $50,000. Now let's say we are at $100,000. You just doubled your revenue. You got your proof of concept. You're at $100,000. Now that you are at $100,000, you now have that proof that somebody wants to buy what you're selling. Now the question isn't, does this work? Do we think that this is actually a viable business model? It's, how do I do more of what actually works? Now it's refinement. Now we're all about, okay, let's double down. You just casted that wide net. You're testing, you're getting gritty. You get to be a little less gritty with trying everything. And we want to do a couple of things really, really well. So to get to that first kind of major point, you're trying a lot of things to see, okay, this is what sticks. Great. Now that it sticks, let's do a ton of it. And so now what we're trying to do is we're trying to find repeatability. We're trying to find consistency. We're trying to find systems. And we're trying to basically understand the data and the numbers of what's going on to basically say, here's how we're going to be successful. Here's how we're going to make sure that this happens. Many founders are still experimenting with everything at this stage of business because they don't feel like they yet have this proof of concept. But now what you do have is you have a little bit more cash flow. You should have a pretty good email list. You should have some good retention, and we should be able to start building your business. So now you are basically identifying patterns. What's actually driving sales? What's actually worth your time? And what's actually creating results? And you, if you aren't yet able to hire a team or to invest in any area, you are basically saying here, okay, what is driving sales? What do I need to do better? What is actually worth my time? And let's ixnay absolutely everything else in this list. The only goal for you now is refinement on what's working. You can first figure out, okay, let's get a little scrappy in those early stages when your passion is really, really high. I mean, your passion should continue, but now we're getting to a little bit more of a stable company. You have a $100,000 company, top 7-ish% of the country, less than 7% of businesses in the country hit this 6-figure mark. We're starting to kind of build to this, and we're starting to say, okay, great. Now we know something is working. What's working? How do we do more of it? Now, let's say that your business is at about a $200,000 to $250,000. Again, we doubled your revenue. Now what changes is you're building a real stinking business. You have a $250,000 company. Now what do you need to look at? You have cash flow. We definitely want to make sure that things are optimized for profit. And really what we're looking at is it's requiring more than just hustle. Now we have kind of earned the right to complicate some things. We know that not only do some people like it, we also can repeat that process, and many people do like it. They're coming back, and this is something that has real legs to it. So now your customers have increased, your responsibilities have increased, and the complexity has increased. For you as the founder, your focus is now on delegation, on systems, on documentations, and protecting your time as the growth person, as the growth driver. You are building a real business now. You are saying, okay, we have a repeatable process. We are sitting on a gold mine here that we know that this can be the next category leader if we go all in on it by doing some of these things. So around this stage, you should be having enough cash flow to start outsourcing if you haven't already. That is something that we like to do. Hire for your weaknesses. It's a really good thing. But if you don't yet have a team at $250,000 in sales, this is something that we can start doing, whether it be marketing, whether it be fulfillment, whether it be production, whatever is on your list. We're really starting to invest into our company here to build the real business. Notice we have optimized for profit, but we're not expecting it quite yet because you're still investing into your company to not settle at a $250,000 company. We are still building for that big company, for that big multi-million dollar category leader. So your focus in this stage now goes to actually being a little bit more of a leader. Let's find the best people in their field to delegate, to build systems, document how these processes are going, and actually figuring out, let's put this repeatable process behind everything. This is where founders often become the bottleneck because they're adverse to wanting to outsource. They don't want to make a change, and they really don't want to tackle being more of a leader in their business as opposed to the actual operator of their company. The business can only grow as much as the founder can personally handle, especially at this stage, because your role just drastically changed from marketing and branding and sales, and you're very in it on your day-to-day, to now being a little bit more on the system side, a little bit more on the delegation side, and a little bit more on really truly just the growth objectives, which can be really tough for people. And eventually the old model will stop working because you have to do these things in order for it to happen. Hey, I've been getting some DMs that you may not know what I do outside of hosting this podcast. I actually work with product-based business owners every single day to help them grow and scale their brand. If you really want my eyes one-on-one inside of your business to look at your strategy, to look at your funnels, to look at your data, and to develop your next campaign or bring your business or your idea to life, that is exactly what I do every single day. I've worked with 500 plus businesses across 70 different industries to help them become the next household name in their industry. If you are craving a business brain, a strategic advisor, a data-centered, obsessed person to come into your business and help you bring your idea to life, I'm your gal. Come on over to my Instagram at thisismadison page, DM me support. Otherwise, you can click the link in the show notes to apply today. Okay, back to the episode. So now let's say we were at a $200,000 to $250,000. Now you've doubled it again, and we're at about a $500,000 company. Really here, you should be spending significantly less time doing random tasks in your business. Up until this point, yes, you do have to do a lot of these little tasks, a lot of these little things. You don't have that big of a team. You might have a couple of people that are helping you. You might have a couple of assistants or a marketing person. You have a couple of people on your team. You should now be spending more time strictly making strategic decisions. Team building, resource allocation, marketing strategy might be your thing, growth opportunities. Again, it does depend on what your strengths are as a business person, but at this stage, I would say probably stage 3 or 4, you need a dedicated strategy person. So if your brain isn't a strategy brain, you need a dedicated strategy person at this point. Otherwise, your growth will stall. Your value is no longer found in doing everything. Your value is found in knowing where the business is going next. It's all about the vision. It's all about, okay, we know where this is going. Okay, this is where we're trying to go. Let's do everything we need to do in order to get there. That's really where we're going here. Your value needs to be placed in the vision, in the strategy, in the direction, in also communicating that to the rest of the team. A founder who spends all day answering emails, doing little tasks, answering questions in Slack isn't creating the same value as a founder who's identifying the next growth opportunity and how do we really get there. So now you've doubled again and we're at $1 million company. Now your success becomes directly tied to the quality of people around you. I want to make this so incredibly clear that at a point in your business, investing in team is necessary for you to actually get to the next step. Your focus is consistently on leadership, accountability, culture, strategic planning, and hiring. Now, of course, you might have a little bit of product, you might have a little bit of creative there. I would say this is much more around the strategy person that we're talking about. But every founder's role does look a little bit different. But what you need to be known as at this point is you are not in the business at all. You are working on the company. You might be developing new products. You might be approving some things, but really your goal is less about executing anything. And again, I know that this is hard for some business owners to kind of, munch on a little bit because they're feeling like, well, this is my baby and I want to be in the execution so I can have quality control. But really at the end of the day, you can still be involved in those things and approve those things and make sure that it's all still up to the values that you have as a company and that you want to be involved in it. But it can't be what you're doing all the time. you need to remove a lot of that working in your business in there. So right now it's about creating an environment where this execution can actually happen without you. Because as you scale, you need to be able to step more away to actually just work on the growth of the company a little bit more. This is where many founders struggle because they built the business by being involved in everything. So they feel like they still need to be involved in everything in order to scale. But now you have to learn how to lead instead of learning how to be involved in everything. So now when we go from 1 million to 2 million, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to, keeping on going from there, we kind of have to understand that we are more of this leader. We're a lot more of this person making sure that people are happy. What are our next growth endeavor? What's our next opportunity? How are we really going from here? So when we really look at this, the biggest mistake that we see that founders make is that they continue doing the job that made them successful in the previous stage because they feel like that is what is still required of them. What you actually have to do and have to understand is that a $500,000 founder is still acting like a startup founder is going to stall you for months to years at that amount of money, at that revenue. $1 million founder still trying to personally approve absolutely everything and be involved in every decision is going to be stuck at that stage for a lot longer than they really want to be. A founder who refuses to delegate because I do it better or I just do it faster or I just don't have the capacity to hire right now is going to stay stuck as a startup and they're not actually going to scale. Because our time is our biggest asset as a founder. And we have to understand that we will probably evolve more than anybody in the growth of this company. Anybody else, you will have a GM or you will have a marketing person or you'll have, somebody in the operations, whatever. You'll have all these other people and they're going to grow with you, but you are the one evolving as a new layer of yourself. At first, your goal is to be gritty. Stage 1, be gritty. Be as gritty as you can up to about $50,000. You're at about $50,000 and then all of a sudden, you're saying, okay, we know that people like this. We're wearing a lot of hats. We're figuring this all out. Then you double to 100,000 and now you basically have to figure out how to double down on the things that were actually working and make sure that it's a repeatable process. Okay, now we're at 250. Now we're building a real business and we have some cash flow and we have some money coming in, knowing that we have to actually start investing into some of these other things because your job just got a little bit more complex. You now need to start outsourcing things into other areas. You are sitting on this gold mine and you need to be spending your time, 90% of it, on working on your business. So you delegate and you build the team. Now that you have maybe one or a couple of people on your team, now your focus is all on making sure that you have growth opportunities and more team. How do we make sure that your resources are being allocated properly? Now you've really moved in to that leadership role. And then once you're at the $1 million mark, you have fully moved towards the growth objectives. You can still, approve things here or there. You can look at this, make sure this looks good. But at the point that you're making $1 million and you have a team and you have people that are really helping you, you really should be growing the business. Your whole goal is to grow the business. So if you're looking at this and you're saying, Maddie, I'm in more of these stages. I'm deeper into these stages and I'm still operating like I'm in stage 1. You need to put systems and strategy behind the different things that you're doing. And you really need to look at your calendar and realize that you have to evolve. Very often as founders, we are actually the bottleneck of our growth. I have found it. Many of my friends have found it. Many of my colleagues have found it, is that we hold ourselves back more than anybody else. We have to realize as business owners that we are constantly evolving. We have to evolve in order for our business to evolve. We have to reach that next step in order for our business to get to the next step, because we have to become a stage 3 person before we actually hit stage 3, because it's how we get there sooner. And so it's all about how quickly can we evolve and make some of these changes. I think that it's a really good idea for you to get into the habit of every time your business doubles, you can ask yourself, what does this version of the business need from me now? What can I remove? What should I add? And what just doesn't make sense for me to be doing anymore? because the goal isn't to keep on doing more. I hear this a lot. Well, Maddie, if I scale my business, like I can't take on any more responsibility. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to delegate. You're supposed to have other people on the team. And the goal is to keep becoming the founder your next stage of growth requires. And I know it sounds scary to have a team and have to be more of a manager and have to be more of a leader, but you get to evolve into being that stage of that person. Again, at these different stages, we're talking here as if you are the strategy brain in your business. Now, I know many people that are listening to this, because I talk to you a lot, might not be actually a strategy brain naturally. You might be more of a creative. So we do have to evolve your role to make sure that you are still doing things that you really enjoy. I never want you to like, oh my gosh, I loved creating my product and being involved in the formulation, and to completely kick you out of that. I don't want you to do that. I don't think that's good for any real employee, quote unquote employee, to do in their business. But, you know, even when I hire people, I'm always trying to say, let's keep you in the things that you enjoy the most. But what you also have to realize is probably less than 10% of your calendar will be those things eventually. 90% of your calendar is going to be more around the growth activities, the vision, the next steps, the team, and continuing to scale the company. You will have a marketing person, you will have a systems person, you will have an operations person, and you're kind of just like this quarterback that is making sure that everything is running really properly and calling the shots is really what is going on there. If you are not a strategy brain, you need one. Strategy is what actually helps you with those growth objectives. If you don't know what growth objectives are, you need to figure it out. If you don't know what your revenue generating activities are, you need to figure it out. Those are the things that the founder should be focused on. That's what should be keeping you up at night, is figuring out what are your growth objectives and what are your revenue generating activities, what is actually working, and what can we double down on in some of these areas. If you are not a strategy brain, if you would like my strategy brain in your business, we actually only have a couple of spots left for strategic advisory for the year, which is basically me working with you one-on-one, my brain, my eyes, my heart in your business to help you identify your gaps, fill the leaks in your bucket, and make sure that we take all of the guesswork out of your business and put a system, put a strategy, put a blueprint behind your growth to actually get you to later on in this process, many stages deep, much quicker than you think, because doubling your revenue doesn't need to take you years and years and years. In a product-based business, we should be able to double our revenue fairly quickly, especially getting up to the $1 million mark. We want to be able to continue to scale the systems and the operations and the things behind that. So if you are looking for support in doing that, I'm here for you, girlfriend. If you like the podcast, this is about 2% of what we actually can do with my eyes and my brain inside of your business. Feel free to reach out. You can either click the link in the show notes. Otherwise, you can also hop on over to Instagram at This Is Madison page and DM me support there if you just want to talk to me directly. That's totally fine. At this point that I'm recording this, we have 3 spots left, but that is coming out in a couple of weeks. And so hopefully, as this is out, feel free to reach out. We would love to hear from you and talk about options. I hope this was helpful for you. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Make sure you're subscribed and you follow along. I'll see you in that next episode. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Business Growth Podcast. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. So if you love this one, make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss a conversation. If you want more conversations with me and other business owners, make sure that you join our completely free podcast community, the Founders Cafe. The link is in the show notes. You can get bonus resources, access to free coaching calls, as well as connect with like-minded business owners like yourself. Make sure that you rate and review the podcast 5 stars, share it with a friend to keep those conversations moving, and come back every Tuesday and Friday. I'll see you there.